Mafia depictions in movies and thoughts throughout the general public show an unfair representation of Italian American culture for a vast majority of Italian Americans. Violent shooting scenes and examples of organized crime, such as extortion, drug trafficking, political corruption, and bootlegging alcohol during Prohibition, puts a negative label on Italian Americans. It's estimated that today the Mafia makes up 0.0025% of the 26 million Americans of Italian descent. Chapter 4 of Italian Americans in Film states that studies have found that in 1,233 Italian-related films, 859 of them, or 69%, portray Italians in a negative light. Even though the Mafia makes up such a small minority, the image of Italian Americans put in our head is found in movies such as Scarface, Little Caesar, and The Godfather. The Mafia was a dark part of Italian culture in the 1920s and still exists today. However, it's unfair for Italian Americans to be viewed in a negative connotation because of this. Hollywood can make more profit from a mob movie over a feel-good movie representing Italian culture, but the ruthless and violent demeanor of a small group should never represent an entire culture. There are many movies that depict Italian Americans as monsters, but the one that stands out to me most is Scarface. Scarface is littered with violent pictures of mob dealings. One scene that stands out to me most is Tony's final stand.
Say hello to my little friend! Okay, you wanna play rough? Okay. Go! Okay, you like that? Huh? You want more? Hey! Your horse!
Although the movie was made for entertainment purposes, gruesome acts like this leave a sour picture of Italian Americans in the viewers' minds. Another example, Little Caesar, is a classic mob movie which laid precedent for many more of these films to be created. Viewers of this movie are left with the image of angry Italian men threatening violence with a Tommy gun in hand.
Coming out, or do you want to be carried out?
Little Caesar was created in 1931 during the Mafia's peak and was very popular at the time. The author of Chapter 4 attributes Little Caesar for setting the image of an Italian-American gangster in stone. Unfortunately, many people watch a movie like this and group both Italian-American mafiosos with regular Italian-Americans in the same boat. The Godfather is the most popular example of a mafia-focused movie that shines a negative limelight on this demographic. The author of Chapter 10 mentions some of the mafia activities both shown in The Godfather and not shown. She states that these men of honor are involved in extortion rackets, death threats, corrupt policemen, and murder. The brutal nature of scenes such as this are the reason the image of Italian American culture has been tainted. It's obvious that filmmakers tend to glamorize mafia dealings in exchange for entertaining movies and putting money in their own pocket. For far too long, the prominent presentation of Italian Americans in theater has been mob-focused. This is a hindrance to honest, hard-working Italian immigrants who have been unfairly mistreated or judged on their characters based on glorified Hollywood films. Mafias are apparent in many cultures, such as the Irish and Russian mob, but their stature as a mafia culture is not nearly as prevalent. There's no doubt that the mafia is a terrible piece of Italian culture, but it's unfair to label a whole demographic as dangerous or bad people due to this.